Askreddit, Redditors who have tried to hide on your cruise when it ended so that you could stay on the ship for the next round. How did that go? Very specific target audience. Everyone should upvote this to get this question answered. I don't know if this counts, but my dad got locked in a toilet cubicle on a ferry to France and it took several people to find him. The toilet was right out of the way and you couldn't hear him yelling even right outside in the corridor because the doors were so massive. I guess he could have gone immediately back to England? Could have become a ship toilet hermit. This happened to me on a boat in Malta. I went to pee on the only toilet on board in the basement of the boat as the boat docked for a 4-hour stop. I legitimately thought I might die. It was so hot I thought I might suffocate. Finally some guy found me 15 minutes after I was screaming and pounding on the door. He let me out and then laughed about it to his friends. Used to be in the USCG. We had this happen a few times in Miami. They were all escorted off the ship. Typically the police handle the situation, but if a stowaway was discovered while still in the 3 to 12 mile range, we would render assistance once they were apprehended by the onboard law enforcement. The problem here is that you only know about the unsuccessful stowaways, not the ones that manage to pull it off. Also, is keel hauling still an acceptable punishment for stowing away? Removed. Dang, that's actually really impressive. What happened when you got off the ship? People on this thread keep saying that you need to be scanned off of the boat. How did that work? Been doing this for a couple of years now. They slapped a name tag on me and now I work here. Hope they also took your bank account and post a monthly salary in there. Late to the party, but I can chime in and further add proof if needed. I worked for Carnival for 5 years, specifically in debarkation. Additionally, I worked for Disney Cruise Line and Princess Cruise Line. Here's what happens, we give you a card upon check-in and that card is scanned the minute you step on board. Additionally, it is scanned when you leave the ship for either complete debarkation or excursions. At the end of your cruise, debarkation starts around 7 a.m. Come 10 a.m. we receive a list of people who have not yet had their cards scanned. It's impossible to get off the boat without getting your card scanned, unless you jump into the water, haha. Then a manhunt begins to get you guys off the ship so we can put a new 2200-2600 people on it. We do not start boarding new passengers until every card from the previous voyage has been scanned. In my experience, nobody ever waits and tries to hide. If you do take a cruise, book a flight that's a little bit later in the morning and go with the latest checkout time you can. So many people aim for debarking around 7 o'clock to 9 a.m. Literally over 1,700 people will be waiting in lines that'll take well over an hour to get out of. Instead of waiting in line for the hour, stay on board and eat some breakfast, take some last-minute photos, and then when your time comes just leave, go through customs, and be on your merry way. I'm the one-stop Redditor for all cruising tips, haha. Edit, I'm starting my commute to work but I'll be sure to answer all questions when I get there, smiley face. Edit 2, alright, I'm back, time to answer these questions. Edit 3, I'll still answer questions if you PM me. Also thanks for all of the kind words and gold and silver, it's been a fun thread. Closing parenthesis dot. Boarded for a trip from Southampton to Queenstown. Stayed on to get to New York. All was good until we hit a damn iceberg. Been 107 years and still haven't docked. Fucking sucks, man. At least the water is heating up finally though. Swimming pools are full of salt water though. Better call the maintenance guys. It is all electronic card swipe now, everyone monitored all the time. All of the japes and scrapes of being a stowaway, one step ahead of the steward, is in the past now. Sounds like it would be easier to just get a job there. I worked for Carnival. We will find you. We know you're in the ship. And we all want you to get off so I can take a short nap before I have to do it all over again in a few hours. What you must know is that I have a particular set of skills. Not me, but a couple decided to hide to try get another week out of their holiday. This was while we were halfway through our holiday, so we heard it all. Dozens of announcements calling for them or anyone who's seen them were made throughout the day. Their rooms were searched and everything they owned in that room was seized, apparently. The ship left port late by about 90 minutes, but they were eventually found and escorted off the ship when the crew decided to check the identity of every passenger on board. All of their stuff was left in their room? How did they think they would get away with it? I know you're planning something up. I can neither confirm nor deny these allegations. You may enjoy a listen to the Stowaway episode of the podcast Criminal. It's not someone who just didn't leave, but someone who plotted to go on a cruise without paying. It's a good listen. That was a good episode. I don't think it would work today though. And it sounded like she really didn't have a good time on the boat anyway, with no place to sleep and nothing but buffet snacks, not to mention constantly being worried about being found out. A little different, I was going through a really hard bout with depression in 2012 and really had nothing going on in life besides an overnight job at a gym. My parents decided to do a family cruise in March as our Christmas present. I was actually planning on saying goodbye to my family at the end of the trip and just getting off at the last island and not getting back on. Then I found out the cruise company would alert local authorities that I didn't get back on. I wanted to just island skip for a while instead of backpacking through Europe to do some thinking and adventuring. I didn't want to end up in some shitty Caribbean jail. It is right they don't just leave without passengers as they could be lost and stuck. What happens if they find you and you don't want to get back on board? I have no idea, but can't think what you would go to jail for. You'd be all on your own though if you couldn't get home. As someone about to embark on a cruise, this thread could hold vital information. Have fun on your cruise. I met my wife on one 7 years ago. And are you a penguin? I don't know if this counts, but on the last night of a cruise my friends and I got really drunk. Well, I don't know how the hell, but I ended up somewhere passengers shouldn't be, in a goddamn supply closet I believe. The ship had docked and there was a 2-hour search for me. Still drunk, I couldn't find a way to get out of the room where the supply closet was, but the door was locked. The crew thought I was trying to sneak another ride, but after reviewing the cameras they clearly could tell I was nowhere near sober. So they let me go on my way with a good laugh. To this day I still don't remember making my way down there. That's kind of adorable somehow. I can imagine them all bring up the security footage like, what a jerk, we'll see how sneakily he planned this. Oh, well, oh wow, he's very drunk and very confused, isn't he? Edit, autocorrect. Day 247, they still don't realize. I have been living off of seawater and Ritz crackers for the past month. I can't let them see me in the cafeteria. People tell me all the time, dude, just leave the boat, but none of them understand. Using the quarters I find on the ground, I was finally able to pay my cell phone bill again today. I got a text from some guy named Boss, dumb name, telling me that he's gonna put me in a thing of fire. Whatever, probably insane. I got a scam text from some guy named Jane calling me husband, and from police. Regardless, I'm probably gonna fry up the phone battery for more fire today. I sometimes wonder what life is like outside of the ship, but quickly dismiss those thoughts after I realize that there is no such thing as living outside of the ship. Around day 50 or 60, people in blue coats began to harass me, saying that I must go or they're gonna find me or something. They're probably just heroin addicts, though they scared me enough to go incognito until they're gone. Writing prompts. I think they might catch you when they do the lifeboat drill at the beginning. Then why go to the lifeboat drill? I found some crew clothing in the laundry and put it on. The crew was changing out at the last stop so nobody would recognize my new face. In the 2 days between the ending of one round and the start of the next leg I found myself enjoying the nods from other crew members and a level of respect I wasn't used to, having dressed as a normal passenger. I decided that I would chat up some of the bar staff and see if I'd have any luck getting free drinks. After a few beers, this new bartender came on. An old British guy. Looked like he'd seen some stuff. He had a nickname for everyone. Govnar, amigo, pal, comrade. I guess he'd really traveled a lot. He kept serving me drinks with a sly wink, like from one old sea dog to another. It came time to settle my bill, as the ship was prepping for departure, and when I went to give him money, sure enough, he told me I didn't have to pay. No sir, he said, this one's on me, Kaapin, no trouble at all, good luck getting us out of dock, and he pointed over my shoulder with his chin. I turned around and the rest of the bridge crew was there with a security detail. And then? There was an episode of This American Life, I think, where a woman did this, but back in the day, like the 60s or early 70s. There were seating charts or something in the dining room so she couldn't sneak in to eat, and things that she assumed would be open most of night, like bars, weren't. She lived on a lot of bar garnishes and had to pretend she was drunk who kept passing out in the lounge. It was a lot less fun than she thought it would be, with very little sleep and cleaning herself up in public bathrooms while worrying she would be caught doing so at any time. She had to sneak back into her own country because she hadn't brought a passport. I read that link, and while it was interesting, there were also a few occasions where she came close to being possibly assaulted, because one of her methods for fitting in involved being flirty with the single men on board, and more than once she had to extract herself from an overly touchy dude, and once she also woke up to a crew member with his hands down her top. Which makes you think, what happens to you if you bump into a real predator? You could go missing and no one would know where you are because you weren't really there. I am a stand-up comic who works on cruise ships 3 to 4 months out of the year. Guests who take forever to leave suck. Employees of the ship can't leave until every last guest has exited the vessel. So if a guest is taking their time to leave or hiding, they are potentially keeping over 100 employees from going home. And many of the employees are on the ship for like 8 months, so every second counts when they just want to get off and start heading home. Get the frack off the boat. I'm going on a cruise in a few hours, and I'm hiding inside the pool. I'm in it for the long haul. And that's all there is to it. Ships tend to have really good tracking of their packs. There's security cameras everywhere, and when you disembark they give the ship a really good walkthrough. All the passenger areas are easy to see through and have no hiding places, and if a PAX were to be in a crew area, it happened every now and then, we would notice immediately. I've never had passengers try to stow away, but I've definitely seen crew run away from the ship. Mostly happens in American ports. Personally, when I was working on ships I couldn't wait to get the frack off them every time I saw land. White people cruise to begin with is beyond my comprehension. It's a change of pace vacation. Typically cruises are very low stress. Just fly, drive to the port, embark, and everything else is taken care for you. Unlimited food, access to resort-level amenities, a preset itinerary, and life at sea, which is totally refreshing for us land dwellers. Wow, I can actually kinda answer that. Okay, so it was not a cruise but a ferry. Also, we didn't hide on purpose. It was the ferry from Souris, Prince Edward Island to the Isles de la Madeleine, Quebec, Canada. A 12 hours ride. We embarked at 2 a.m. and found a very quiet spot to sleep. We slept through the landing and no one woke us up because no one actually saw us. When we woke up we saw the islands going away from us. Result, we spent 36 hours on that boat. Sorry for my bad English. How long did it take for you to correct that? Did you have to go to the next stop, wait for a boat going back? That's like missing your turn off a highway but the next turn around isn't for 10 plus miles. Haha, I'd be so sad. BC, I'm sure it took forever to get where you were actually going. Serious tag, serious tag, serious tag, serious tag. Hey, it doesn't work like that. The correct format is serious. My friend did this. He can't handle his drink and we were on a mini cruises from Newcastle to Amsterdam. After a good few drinks he loses it, rips a table from the wall and throws it away, took his top off as well as another friend's top and threw them overboard shouting, "WHEEYYYYYYYYY." He was quickly sent to the brig and had his passport confiscated, meaning he couldn't get back in the boat after our day in Amsterdam. So he tried to hide under the bed. According to his story, he couldn't fit, so his feet were sticking out a bit and said he got caught straight away. They threw him off and we never seen him that day. Imaginably, when we got back in the boat to no friend under the bed, we were concerned. We chose his closest friend to call his dad to say we have lost your son LMAO, and his answer was, oh I know, we booked him a flight. Turns out he ventured off the boat in a panic, somehow managed to find a British embassy and explained his situation, not sure how but they organized him to fly home without a passport. Every time I see him I ask him to tell me the story again for a laugh. Wait, the boat staff confiscated his passport and threw him off the boat? While I won't rule it out as an impossibility nowadays, it would be extremely difficult. First, you're scanned on and off the ship, so they'd know you never got off. So now you're hiding on the ship. WTF are you going to do? You won't be able to get into or back into your room. You won't be able to eat or drink on some of the cruises since you'll need a valid key card or wristband. You will be carrying all your stuff around, since you'll have nowhere to store it. You might make it to the first port without being caught, but then you'd probably want off, and when you get scanned off you're busted. I'd say it's 99.9% likely you spend your stowaway cruise in the ship's jail cell until you get back to home port. I don't think I've ever been scanned at the buffet on Princess. The on-deck food and drinks though, usually get your key and room number. Every cruise ship has an employee section that includes a club per bar areas. I once got access after hitting on a bartender. Beers were $1 and everyone was wasted. That's an area I would look into. You'll never find it on your own. Need an employee to show you how to get in. Dude, this should be any or all of them. 1. A life pro tip. 2. Life hack. 3. How to vacation frugally. Seriously. I was on a cruise where a guy tried to climb down the ship into the lifeboats. Of course, he fell overboard and died in the water, and we all woke up a few days before Christmas to a cruise worker on a jet ski pulling his waterlogged corpse out of the ocean, so I can't recommend it. But hey, his ghost is probably still there. Unusual to find the body, his family must have been relieved at least. Please subscribe. Multiple videos uploaded daily.